my impressions on Vanilla, I would say that you'd be working with a very professional outfit. You provided with a very enthusiastic and dedicated project team. And to be honest, they're absolutely. There's no word. I can't praise them enough, highly enough, really. They was with us every step of the way, and where things needed leading, they would help lead, and they were on top of everything every step of the way. So you know, I can't praise them highly enough, and I can't wait to work with them again.
That's very good to hear. Thank you very much for that, Andy. It was great, very interesting, an amazing achievement. I'm sure you all agree. I have a couple of questions for you. So you mentioned that resource was a huge constraint on the project. Were there compromises as a result of this? And if so, how have you dealt with these since going live?
Were there compromises? The only compromise really was my time. It just meant that where we didn't have the resource, somebody had to step in, and I would have to say during that period of time, because I was obviously leading it from Caistor's point of view, and I've got like I said in my sort of biography thing, I've got a lot of experience within the factory, within how operations run. So it meant I was able to take control because I got that experience, because I knew how the fish produced. I knew all those where people would have been coming in to do those roles. I knew them. I've done them. I've experienced them. So I was able to step in and do those things, which is fortunate from my point of view. But in other circumstances, you might not have that experience to step in and do that. But that's why that was the compromise. It was my time, whether that was after hours or whatever. You know, the project was quite long. Long days, should I say? Not long as in like long.
Yeah.
I hope that helps.
Did you use, or do you plan to use, IFS DocMan?
Absolutely. We had it in the previous version, but never used it. And I've spoken to our technical team, and I've spoken to our finance team, and we are not live with that at this present moment in time. It's there. I've just gone through the process of setting up the document classes for technical team, for the finance team, and we're looking forward to using that, to be honest. We're putting the invoices and the purchase orders and uploading all the technical policies and that for the technical department, specifications, attributes. Yeah, we're intending to use that. It'll be a little phase as we go on, because it's there. We're just going to gradually add things to it now. The main core of the system is there. We can do all of from customer orders to sales invoices, all of that's sorted. So now it's a case of building on the things that you probably saw on the list from the previous version that we never used, and document management was one of those, and we will be using that going forward.
Okay, I haven't got any more questions at the moment, but if there are any more questions, then please do pop them through. If we don't get them covered today, then we will cover them by email after the event. Actually, one's just popped up now. So how many IFS users are there?
At Flatfish, there were, let me think, they only had 7 Sage users, but obviously when you implement IFS, you've got a lot more functionality and things to do. So I believe when we first purchased the IFS apps 10, we got them 15 users. We subsequently overrun that, and they've got another 10. So there's at least 25 users at Flatfish, and there'll be another, I think it's about 30 users at Caistor.
Okay. Did you use any interface to IFS, EDI, third-party systems, etc.?
So EDI, we do use EDI because they have customers for Tesco and Waitrose and Ocado, so they supply those customers. the EDI supplier was Netix that they currently had, so we engaged with Netix in order to create the link to IFS, which Vanilla kindly sorted out for us. And basically, it doesn't matter what output comes out of IFS, Netix will deal with that for the customer. Unlike the experience I'd had at Caistor, where you had to make sure that the format coming in was correct in IFS and going out was correct for the customer. Here, that Netix, you dealt with those, and they basically got the message that came out of the system, and they changed it to what the customer required, which made it a lot easier, and it's made it a lot easier actually going forward for Caistor, because we've created the same solution. So we've used the same solution for both companies.
Okay. How many weeks were invested in testing before going live?
That's a good question, and not many. I would be lying if we said weeks and weeks of testing. We had a UAT session and an AST session, comprised of 1 day, and me. So again, I was fortunate. It's me that knows the business. So we did get other people in to try it. It was just a case of because obviously we had to do all of their permission sets and make sure that they managed for their roles and things like that. And again, we were so tight with resource. It was just a case of we can get some people in to have a go, and then if they couldn't do it, then obviously we would fix it and amend it at that point in time. So again, it was almost we were almost taking what we had at Caistor and saying, look, this is the permission sets that we do. We're not going to do anything different, so let's just mimic those and take those across to Flatfish. And so in essence, there wasn't that much testing that was required, but yeah, that's where we were.
Okay, lovely. How would you approach training differently, and what kind of materials would you use?
Training, well, the training for me would be to ensure that everybody's been taught from the same page, if you like. I think the problem was that I was teaching some people, and some of the people from Caistor that came across, because they had experience, and we didn't have that. There was a timing thing, getting people available. They were showing them how to do other things. So in essence, we was covering the job, but some of the things that they were doing were not necessary. There were shortcuts, there were way around, they weren't the way we wanted to do it. So I would probably ensure that you make time for those people, and ensure they're either all in the same room or all got the same training material. I've subsequently gone through all the training material that I had previously in IFS 7 and revamped it to all the screenshots and everything, and it's just literally a step-by-step process. So when you're going on to do a customer order, it literally tells you every step, go to this one, tab that, tab now, do this, do that, and it's got a picture of the screenshot. So ultimately those documents that are available now that weren't available at the time make it a lot easier for people to do. But that's how I would just make sure they're using the same material.
Okay. In terms of SFDC, it was noticed that shop ordering reporting wasn't part of the module implementation. Can you explain how Flatfish manage SFDC?
Okay, might actually SF. What's that one?
Shop floor data collection, Andy.
All right, okay. We don't. So in that sense, we don't do any operation. We don't record any operations, because operations we treat as standard. So we backflush those. In terms of recording materials and things used within the shop orders, the packaging and ingredients are backflushed. The only thing that's issued, physically issued, is fish, which is obviously the main ingredient of the thing, and that's done from the paperwork and goes into the office, and they literally record it in the office on the screen. So there's no actual shop floor reporting at this present moment in time. It's all office based, and a lot of it, to be honest, is retrospective as well for Flatfish, because they did it retrospectively. Caistor did it proactively. They did it as they were doing the production, because it's chilled production. But Flatfish did a lot of production that was made to stock, so it didn't matter that they did do it afterwards. They sort of finished the production run, and the next day they would process all of those documents. But obviously, when they took over the fresh fish business, that needed to be done on the day, for the day, in order to produce the customer order, the invoices and the delivery notes and things. So literally, as it's gone down the line, paperwork comes through into the office, and somebody just sits down and says, right, issue 100 kilos of that, backflush all of those ingredients, and receive those onto stock. So there's no physical shop floor reporting. It's recorded in the office, and at that point, that's when they finish the customer orders off. We're looking to go to shop floor reporting going forward, but not at this present moment in time.
Okay, I think that has answered the next question as well. So the question was, what do you use as a reporting solution? I think that you've covered that, haven't you?
Well, when you say reporting, so it's understanding the production, what's happened in the production. Well, I suppose recording the data and then actually getting the reporting, the detail off it. We have some quick reports and SQL reports that are run in the background, and then they're managed by ClickView. So we have ClickView as a the shop where they do the analysis on all the shop orders to ensure that people haven't overissued fish and underissued and all that sort of stuff. The data is obtained using ClickView, and then we can see that information direct out the system, and I think it updates every 30 or 40 minutes. So anything that goes on, they can see fairly live.
Okay. Do you use batch tracing on the fish stored or sold in case of needing to trace any issues reported by customers?
So we use the standard batching where we can. So if we purchase fish from the purchase order, as the fish comes in, we receipt it, and it'll take the purchase order number, the line of the PO, and then the receipt number. And we use that as our traceability information. And then obviously when we issue that, we just use the system lock batches in order to do all the traceability.
Okay, lovely. How has Apps 10 been received by the users?
Okay, so Apps 10 for Flatfish, it was very, very daunting. I think they've been used to Sage for so long that they were a bit scared. I would say scared, yeah. You know, they knew what they were doing, and now they were having this system thrust upon them. There was no consultation or anything like that with them. It was literally, today you find out that in 4 weeks you're going to be using the new system, and that was a bit daunting. But to be honest, they've got although a very small team, a very good team, and a team of people that were able to take it and run with it. And I can say with all honesty that I hear less from them today than I do Caistor. So either I've done a good job or they're just finding other ways of doing it. So I'm not getting any issues, and things are running quite smoothly.
Good.
So yeah, so it's well received, I think.
Good. Would you recommend incremental go lives of functionality or big bang?
It depends. I think that's what you're doing, because if we'd have gone for big bang, all those ones in light grey would have been done. So no, probably not big bang. I think we have those bits available to us, and I think that we took the core part of the system that we needed to function, to operate, and then what we're going to do is gradually build those elements in where we need to. such as the document management, probably the cash flow and the budget management, demand planning, and then we'll go on to the planning side of things because the planner's using spreadsheets. So I think that it'll be that we'll go for that gradual build up, and then we'll start looking at shop floor reporting and things like that. So no, not big bang. I think that you would look at your core part that you need to do that, and then build on it.
Okay.
I hope that answers that question.
I hope so too. What approach did you use for hosting IFS in the cloud, and any lessons learnt? Do you manage the cloud, or do Vanilla provide this service for you?
Okay, so when we made this decision to go to the cloud, it was primarily because that we're currently on premise at Caistor, and I was sat there thinking, do you know what if Caistor goes down, then Flatfish aren't going to be able to pick up IFS, are they? So, and then like I was like, well, that sort of makes it a little bit awkward, because then we're relying on Caistor being up and running in order for them to use the cloud. So there'll probably be less chance of both companies having issues if it was in the cloud. So, and I didn't know what the cloud, to be honest. I know I was taking over the IT thing, but I've gained that. I haven't sort of gained it because of the knowledge and my technical ability. It's just been pushed on to me, and I've learned as I've gone along. So the cloud to me was a bit of an unknown, and I didn't really get it. I didn't really understand how it was going to work, and it wasn't until I spoke to Vanilla and specific their technical team that we had many discussions over a short period of time of how it would work. So I took on board how they'd manage their own implementation of on a cloud, and possibly copied. I don't know, maybe to a degree. But and then I got our technical team, our IT support company to get us the quotes and implement the servers, and then it was a case of getting IFS to implement. And the reason we went down that route was because I've currently managed the on-premise servers, so when there's any updates and things like that, I currently do that. So it made more sense for me to have access to those servers rather than relying on somebody else. Taking control, and plus we could do the updates when we wanted to do the updates, and probably wouldn't have been pushed down when we didn't want them. And another reason we didn't go down the IFS hosting route was the cost. At that point in time, that cost would have been too much for us. So we chose our own route, which is having our IT suppliers set up the hosting and then IFS implement on top of there. So it's like an on-premise on cloud where we manage it. Is that? I don't know if that answers the question. I hope so.
We're still going. We lost your picture for a moment.
I'm back.
Okay, good. I shall pop you back on the screen. Okay, so what are your experiences of the functional consultants supplied by Vanilla, and is there any improvements you would make with the engagement in the future?
Do you know what? A star, absolutely fantastic. There wasn't anything that they didn't know how to do. I'll tell you, it was very professional. To be honest, I just can't praise them highly enough. You know, to do what they've done, and or what we've done, sorry, in such a short space of time, just fantastic. They were very friendly, very knowledgeable, professional, enthusiastic, everything you want in terms of a consultant, and nothing was too much trouble. So brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and yes, I'd definitely use them, and I'd recommend them very highly. So yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, I assure you there've been no brown paper envelopes of cash handed over during this presentation, so appreciate that.
Okay, so are you using Arena Client web-based version or the standard app?
We're using Explorer, but I'm looking at putting some tablets in the factory and things, so we may have a look at the Arena going forward. I don't know. It's very, very new, and I've had to go straight from implementing Flatfish to implementing Caistor, so I'm just not sure how we're going to use it, and to be honest, I haven't really had look to how much different it is. I've had a quick glimpse, but not how it looks and works. So okay. I can't answer that one.
Have you deployed any of the B2B portals, or do you plan to?
No, not at the moment.
No.
And we don't have any of that type at the moment, I don't think.
What update of IFS did you go live with, and is there plans to update this with Evergreen?
Jason or Fraser, what version do we?
Yeah, I don't have that information to hand. I don't think this is the Evergreen version, but maybe we can come back with some answers on that shortly.
I could probably pull it up on the other screen. Will it? Where does it tell you? I don't know. Jason, is he there?
I think he's just had to drop off.
Has he? Yeah, we'll come back to you with that one. Yeah. I never even thought about it, to be quite frank. It was just the latest version I was aware at that time, which was whatever was about July time last year. So that's about as much as I know. I probably haven't even thought about that, to be quite frank. Sorry about that. Can't help me on that one.
We'll come back to that then afterwards.
Yep.
Apologies if I missed this in the presentation, but how did you migrate existing active orders, etc.?
Right, it's a good question. To be honest, because Flatfish were sort of reactive, they did it the next day. It didn't really matter too much in terms of customer orders, because we just put the customer orders on as they received them. The only issue that we would have had would have been, and again, we did the parallel running, so it was a bit more difficult to sort of say how did we copy those across, because actually what we were doing, we're creating all the production and delivery out of IFS, but invoicing from Sage. So nothing sort of really changed in that sort of essence. We're still getting the orders in, where we're just replicating what they were doing, replicating in IFS. What was happening in real life, because they wanted to do that parallel running. So in that sort of sense, we didn't have too many. There wouldn't have been too many anyway, because it's a fresh business, and you get the orders in daily. So whatever today's order is comes in, like tomorrow's order comes in today. So it would have been like literally a couple of orders, which would have been it. We processed on the day when we put them into IFS, literally copied and pasted. And then again, when we got the orders in from the next day, because we didn't have the EDI up and running at that point in time, it was still going into Sage. We just literally copied the previous day's order, changed the purchase order numbers and the quantities that were required. So it was fairly simple in terms of doing that. And all the purchase orders, they never use purchase orders really in Sage. So they only used it for fish. They never used it for packaging and things. So literally, they were just using IFS purchase orders and giving that to the customers, and then using that information within Sage. So it didn't really affect us in that sort of way. So that was another good thing.
Okay, thank you. Do you plan to use HR in Apps 10?
Absolutely. We're just talking about that at this present moment in time. So we've got a time and attendance system that's not working to so great. But I have spoken in depth with our HR lady, and we would like to probably bring on people into IFS and certainly use the about the people contacts and all that sort of stuff, and get people onto the system in preparation for probably using time and attendance or payroll or something like that going forward.
Okay. Did you need much configuration development work to the IFS screens, or did you take most of the standard out of the box?
There was in IFS App 7 we did have some modifications. We had a number of modifications that we didn't bother taking across. We just felt that to do that was not really going to be any good. I mean, there was a screen that we'd had developed years ago that was called a multiple shop order screen, which allowed us to see the final part of the processing of the customer orders and just literally have them on one page, right mouse click and process. Now the process is slightly different in IFS Apps 10, and the guys from Caistor did moan about it quite significantly, to the point we actually got a quote to replicate the screen from IFS Apps 7 to 10. However, leaving it long enough, those sort of things die down and disappear. So they just go on and do the job in the screens that are provided by the current IFS. So we have no mods. So that's one good thing now. So we just use IFS as it is.
Excellent.
Hopefully that answers the screen.
Yes, and that's all the questions. Thank you very much indeed. So I shall carry on from here. So I hope you enjoyed that and found it to be useful and informative. I think it was an amazing achievement. Apologies for a couple of technical issues that we've had today, but hopefully it hasn't been too distracting. A big thank you to Andy for his presentation and his consistent support of the user group. And thank you to Vanilla for supporting the user group summer conference. We've 12 more events planned. We've added 2 more this week, so have another look at our events page. And we're still in conversation with other partners to add more events over the next few weeks and months. We hope to see you all again at an event very soon. Thank you all very much for attending today, and thank you for your continued support of the user group. Please send us feedback about this event so that we can improve if necessary. Stay safe and well, and hopefully we'll see you all in person in the not too distant future. Many thanks. Bye everybody. Thanks Andy. Thanks Fraser.
Bye.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.